The fire already. Don't fire yourself today.
My man, we're foul.
No, this is our guest, so we got to treat him. We
My
gotta,
manager, yeah.
hospitality. We got to treat him
nice
well. We got to treat him
Manager,
well.
you ain't got a phone on standby? I'm picking it right down the street too.
Well, what's up with y'all and all this speaking them down the street?
Because we like JB's business. That's what
JB's,
right now.
what did you do that nobody like your business?
I don't know.
Y'all got to be lovers. You got to be.
I the most hated in
family
the
member, yeah.
industry.
I mean, but you don't listen sometimes. I tell you, let it beef go. There's money involved. People, they ain't got time for that nonsense.
When there's money, there shouldn't be any beef.
Yeah.
When there's real money.
When there's money.
Also, you say all money, I flip it money.
No real money involved in that situation.
All money, I flip it money.
So we're killing it.
Oh.
We kill that situation. No real money involved.
Jay killed that situation.
Because you get the money from it, I want.
Yeah, money not real. No money. And not enough money to share with everybody.
Oh boy. Anyway, welcome back to
They want to share with you.
welcome back to another episode of In the Fries. We're so excited because we have an amazing guest here today.
Yeah.
Vince, you gonna take the lead on this?
Yeah, so we got Derek himself, Mr. Africa, that you call himself. Yeah, I wanna know, my man. Name you go get yourself a whole continent named called Africa. Yeah, with that small play.
No, to be honest with you, it started when I first got incarcerated back in like 2001. And I remember there was like Africa. And I hated the name. Hated everything about it. Because when I first came to America in 94, they used to call me African Booty Scratcher.
We all been there.
But when I graduated to Africa, things got better for LIB. You know what I mean?
So before we go in, before you start going too far, tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Derek Johns, born in Liberia, born and raised. I was born in 1983. Liberia was, the best country in the world still, I believe. Beautiful. Came from a beautiful family, raised in Bonaville, Esther. Then I moved to Monrovia, Jalata. And then the war came, like everybody else. I experienced the war. I experienced 2 terms of the war. Fled Liberia in 89, 90. Went to Ghana. They said, "Do die." War over, came back. War started again. Fled again. So came to America in 94. I left Ghana, came to America in 1994.
How old were you when you came to the U.S.?
When I came to the U.S., I was 11 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I since I get to America too, my man. I understand that transition.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
who did you come with?
That's a good question. I came by myself.
Really? Not with your mother?
No, my mother. My mother came to America when I was 1 year old.
Okay.
Grandfather was a judge in number 7. So he wanted to further her education. She got remarried, came to America, moved to New York,
Okay.
and then she was getting her education. But once the war started, she got her citizenship, and then sent for me in '94. But we was apart for 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you think you guys being apart for 10 years affected you as a child? Or as a young man
To
growing
be honest
up?
with you, there was no effect.
Really?
As far as not having my mother present at that time, because I didn't feel it. I was on the phone with her all the time.
That's nice.
My mother always sending presents and give. It was like I was the coolest kid in the world because I had a mother in America.
America,
You
right?
know what I mean? I was top dog.
All the latest toys and everything.
And then you're talking about Liberia, how it take a village. I have a foundation called ITAV, ITAV, It Take a Village, in which we speak about that. My mother, family, my Aunt Liz, my Aunt Teresa, my Aunt Telma, everybody played a part in that village to raise me. So it wasn't like, I didn't feel the burden. I don't think I felt like anything was missing. I was just...
So you had a pretty good upbringing.
Absolutely.
That's the reason
Right.
I was asking, because we're going to lead into how you ended up
Into the transition.
into being incarcerated and all of that.
My
Yes,
man,
man.
before like, bro, steady boy, you're in jail. If you don't know incarceration mean,
yeah.
it's an all Liberian podcast. Like, bro,
Absolutely, absolutely.
Talk to
Yeah,
other
man.
people. Say you're in jail, my man.
Yeah, I was definitely in jail.
What led you to that?
All right, so I tell people all the time, it was a combination of a lot of things. You know what I
Okay.
mean? When I came to America, being popular in Liberia, being the kid, and then you come to school. Like I said, 94, it wasn't popular to be African.
No, it was
It wasn't
not.
that many either around. So in school, I was like the only African kid in my class. So you're getting called. My sister was born here. My sister Vanessa. So African booty scratcher the names. I mean, I remember I tell people this story all the time. When you come from America to Africa, you get a name. Like they give you a tribal name or something. So to me, because I remember when my brother came to visit, he got his tribal name. When my aunt, like different people was coming back in the day. You know what I mean? So when I came to call me African booty scratcher, I thought I got my name. I was saying, I'm in. You know what I mean? So I was like, hi. I mean, speaking back. And then one day, my sister was like, how you doing? I was like, man, I'm the man. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, they called me African booty scratcher. Like, I'm thinking it's a hardcore name. I mean,
It was a cool deal.
you know what I mean, yeah. So, and then she told me what it meant, and being who I was, I mean, I went to school that day and beat the kid real bad, and they put me on probation.
How old were you at this time when this
incident
incident happened?
I was 13 years old.
Okay.
So if you take a look at like living in Liberia, right? If you would have did the same thing, if they went to school in Liberia and you would have beat a kid, they went and did the punishment wouldn't have been as harsh as the punishment is. That's why I
think if I was white, the punishment wouldn't have been as harsh as the punishment.
That's why I always tell people in Liberia, like basically, the way we operate in Liberia, if you operate in America here, like your whole entire life can just change.
So now my question is, did you have the understanding that if you do so and so things, this is the repercussion or this is what's going to happen? Or to you were just getting into a fight with a kid?
I was just getting a fight as a kid because like, bro, like what we do. You know what I mean? Beat somebody minute equal me around, you know what I mean? You know, the whole thing was like, this is what we do. And you know, like, you know what I mean? You beat somebody, pepper it, and you ain't notice that was really assault. You know what I mean? It's like, even at home, somebody beat you or pepper you. They don't even know that's child abuse. You could really go to jail and for a long time. You pepper somebody in America. I mean, so those things were not there. I wasn't privy to the law. My mother, single parent. Now imagine leaving Liberia, coming to America by herself.
Yeah.
And then now there's a war. She was newly divorced. So my mother now have to do everything to bring everybody here.
Yeah, it's a lot of burden.
So the burden is on her. Now she's constantly at work.
Yep.
I'm at home. Fending for myself. Basically raising myself because she's working day and night. She started one of the first African person to work at Wood School. You know what I mean? And now all the Liberian people at Wood School. I wonder it was my mom was the only person at Wood School. You know
I want to speak on that because I think a lot of us have similar experiences coming up. Yeah. I have 5 brothers, and I think a lot of male cousins. And we all had to raise ourselves. And I noticed we, the girls, some of us, we turn out a little bit on a straighter arrow than a lot of the boys do because you boys tend to get in a lot of trouble.
Yes.
But you were just unfortunate that you got, juvenile at 13.
Yes.
And then after that, what happened?
Well, I got put on probation. But
that was harsh.
That's crazy.
Harsh.
I feel like that's harsh. There should have been some type of program or system.
I know, we got to find a bus drivers. I'm talking about flop. No lie. I mean, one thing about me, I'll take responsibility for anything I do. Like, really flop, and then they charged me with assault on the bus driver, too.
Oh, you did the bus driver?
You beat the bus driver up,
Bus driver just flop, trying to stop the fight and just drop down.
Oh, my God.
Like, so they fake, my man.
Okay, so were they white?
Yes, absolutely. I'm Ben Sellum.
So they charge you for the bus
assault on the bus driver, my man.
That's what it is. That's I think that's
on the bus driver, my man. They big elbow. I mean, one more con talking about
it was a white lady as well.
Yeah, white lady as well. Come to court. I remember my mother was scared because I wanted to go to trial. I mean, one thing about me is like I'm very big on if I ain't do nothing, I'm going all the way.
Right.
I mean, I'm taking it to the fullest, and I could take whatever consequence come with it. And it just been something that was stalling me since a kid. I think it was from my grandfather. It's like, yo, if you're right, you're right. But he always said, don't make your right wrong. You know what I mean? And if you're right, you're right. And sometimes we tend to make our right wrong when we're right in certain situations. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you got put on probation for that. Were you still going to school?
No, yes, I got put on probation. It was supposed to be probably like a 6-month probation, but 2 weeks later, I'm back in the fight, back in juvenile again.
Why did you get into a fight again if you knew you was on probation?
Because now I'm the tough guy. So now everybody want to try you. You know how that thing go. You know what I mean? Oh, you be my friend, I can be you. And so
and then you're just operating like
I was just operating on. I became a professional Liberian boxer. I mean, I operate. I mean, but
it's crazy.
The transition came with going in the juvenile, right? And I tell people all the time was going there, and there was this kid, and he was like, yo, man, you keep coming back here? And I'm talking, I was constantly,
Wow.
every 2 weeks I was back in that joint. You know, spend a weekend there or something, right? So he was like, man, you keep coming here for fighting? Man, I come here for making money. Like, why you keep coming here wasting your time? And that was the transition right there. And I was like, if it don't make a dollar, it don't make no sense. And then
So-
he gave me his information, and it transformed me. And that's one of the biggest mistake ever happened to me in my life.
So the thing about it, like you, like now, for where you at this moment, right? To like when that took place, right, and all the things that took place within your life, will you still say that was like the biggest mistake that you've ever made? Because
Yes, because the reason why I say the biggest mistake, right? I mean, I made a lot of mistakes in my life, and probably gonna make more. Probably after the show, make another one, right? So that's how things go. But my thing is that the reason why I said the biggest mistake because it led me to a life that I never approved of.
Yeah.
Even to this day. I mean, it's not a lifestyle that I wanted to be in. But being in that lifestyle give me what I was searching for.
Yeah.
The acceptance. You know what I mean? Now I'm the guy.
Right.
I'm not African booty scratcher. I'm African now.
at that time,
Yeah, I mean,
give it to you at that time. But
no,
at this moment
validation,
today,
yeah.
At that time was validation. I mean, the name
Yeah.
Africa didn't come at that time, but the validation was like, yo, I mean, that's the dude, man. You know what I mean, and then being black as hell was not even helping either.
So my question to you is, did you have your father in your life?
No.
So do you think if you had your father in your life, it would have made a difference?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I met my father twice in my life, and my father was very wealthy in Liberia. I mean, he worked for the bank. I mean, one of the manager in the bank. But in my memory, I met him twice in my life. If I met him any other time in my life, I don't know, but twice. And yes, I tell everybody that every one of my siblings had their father in their life.
Yeah.
And they're all
turn out different.
great. Never been to jail, never been arrested.
So you
The-
feel like,
the reason
that played like a major role
It did.
in your
Absolutely.
transition. That's how you
Absolutely.
feel.
And the reason I asked it is for all the young men that are having children to make
Yeah.
sure you're present.
The present is needed.
The presence is needed in their life, especially raising boys. Because I'm a mom that have 2 boys,
Absolutely.
But I
and
don't
we
know
can
for
do
me,
a lot,
right?
but we need that male figure to really, shape them.
Absolutely.
Like for me, it's kind of different. Like I didn't have my father was in my, for me knowing myself. I only lived with my father for like 2 years. Now when I came to America, I lived in Atlanta. I lived with my father for 2 years. That's the only thing I remember my father being in my life. But most likely, it was only my mother and the people who was around me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically, so I don't know. Sometimes that it works for some people, but not for everybody.
No,
Not
no,
for
it
everyone.
work good 80, 90% of the time.
Yeah.
There's a 10% different. If you look at Steph Curry, mother and father in the household. If you look at the ball, Alonzo Ball, and the ball parents, mother, father in the household. You go down the line, you look at these great. I mean, you got a LeBron now who's a single mother. I mean, you got some of those stories coming around.
yeah.
But you have most of the time people
Success story
who
comes
a
from,
success
yeah.
story come from both parents in the household. Why? Because it's double income. Once you have that
Not
double
only the income, but the attention
no,
as
that's
well.
what I'm saying. The double income bring the attention.
Yeah.
So that's what I was
And
going
there's
to.
more- and there's
what
more
I'm saying is the
accountability,
two
too.
income coming in, the less I have to work and the more I could be home.
The more you can be present.
for
That
the
makes
kids.
sense.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So-
Because I say the same for me. Growing up, we basically raised ourselves because my father,
Absolutely.
your parents are back home. So my
Yes.
father was doing everything to take care of all of the family member that's back home. So now you leave the children to raise themselves.
Absolutely.
So let's get back to you. After you met this guy in juvie, you got into the drug business.
Yes.
How did you end up in prison again? How did you find yourself there? What happened?
Well, on June 16, 2006, a friend of mine, William Jones, stole a half a key of cocaine from me. And he took it on a Friday. Took it on a Friday. He was out of the state. He stole it from me on a Friday. the following Friday, he came to me, called me, told me he was going to return those drugs because, I mean, it's street. Let's be for real. There's consequences to certain things that's going to happen when you do certain things. I mean, so however that consequence is going to go, I mean, only God knows because it ain't happen that way, right? But on June 16, 2006, he told me he was going to return my drugs to me. And he came to meet me in Creekside Apartment in Ben Salem, pulled a gun out, put it in his mouth, and took his life.
Oh, he committed suicide.
Committed suicide.
Wow.
Yes. But here's the twist. They turned around and said, I shot him in the mouth, planted a gun in his hand to make it look like he killed himself.
Ooh.
The crazy thing about that, right, is like we gotta understand something. When you are operating and you keep going to jail in these different counties, like these white counties, and you keep being bad, the moment they have the ability to hold you,
they're gonna hold you. They're looking for something
it's like you're making that work hard for them. You're making them work,
making it easy.
Yeah,
I told people all the time,
yeah.
right? I said I didn't commit the crime, but I made it easy to be accused of the crime and be convicted of the crime.
Yeah,
because
if you had no records
doing.
in the past and you've been on the straight arrow, that they may have looked at things differently.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, but one of the things is that they knew I didn't do it. They offered me 2 years. 2 years in prison with shooting someone in the mouth, planting a gun in his hand to make it look like he killed himself. And this happened in broad daylight in front of 100 people.
Really?
Yes. Outside in the playground, 100 people outside, and you say, I shoot this man in the mouth, catch him in my hand, plant a gun in his hand, lay him down on the ground to make it look like a suicide. So we're thinking like, all right, whatever. This is going to go away. They send the DNA evidence, send the gunpowder, send everything to the lab, and it came back that everything was negative. So they offered me 2.5 to 5 years. It's called involuntary manslaughter. Involuntary manslaughter is a misdemeanor 1, not even a felony. So if I would have pled guilty, I wasn't even going to be found guilty of a felony. I was going to be found guilty of a misdemeanor, right? Now, you just imagine. I was a new father. At the time, my daughter was 6 months old.
How old were you?
At the time, I was 22 years old.
Wow, you're young.
Young, 22 years old. August would have made me 23, but this happened June 16. I was 22 years old. My daughter was 6 months old, my first child, Sinead. And like I just explained, not having a father.
Yep.
Right? So now it's like, okay, do I go and do this 2 years and my child would not be able to have a chance to have a father? Or do I fight and see what happened? Now I'm facing a life sentence. I'm off for 2 years, but I'm facing life. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you weigh this out? And I remember praying on it. And I told God, I said, man, listen, if whatever is going to happen is going to happen, but you know I didn't do this. And I'm putting this in your hand. So you have to lead me and take charge. And I never took the deal. Went to trial.
Took a big chance.
I mean, I got found guilty.
Wow.
Good for me is that I got found guilty of a lesser degree of murder.
Okay.
A lesser degree of murder is 3rd-degree murder. So it's like the lowest degree of murder you get found guilty of. But remember, again, the witness said, I shot this man in the mouth, caught him in my hand, planted a gun in his hand, laid him on the ground. This is June 16, 7 o'clock, broad daylight, 100 people outside in the park. No gunpowder, no DNA, no nothing. All right? So, no, go ahead.
You didn't have a good lawyer? That was going to be my next question.
That's definitely a good question. No. At the time, no.
So you were just out hustling, just spending the money, not even putting nothing up.
Not even thinking about tomorrow,
He
right?
was young. He was only 22 years old.
22, doing things that everybody else was doing. The first lawyer I had, we spent the money on. In fact, my sister took out a loan. My sister, Vanessa, was Michael Parole. Michael Parole will be one of the best in Ben Salem. But I think he wanted to lead us to trial. And my trial cost $50,000 at the time. So
back in the day, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
no. Right now, it's a lot of money. So
yesterday,
I mean, back in the day, it was worse. No, it was worse.
Yeah, yesterday was a lot of money. So you talking about, and the reason why, because of expert. So you talking about, you need a gunpowder expert, you need a DNA expert, You need a body landing expert because of the way how the body flows. You need a blood splatter expert.
Oh,
You see,
boy.
people who go to trial or don't even think about these things when they're shooting guns. You know what I mean? These are the people now. You don't just got to have the mouthpiece. You have to
Yeah.
have the expert say, no, this blood splattered this way.
Yeah.
Or no, the body would have fell this way. Or the autopsy, the guy who do the autopsy, which is most of the time is going to go with the DA. In my case, their doctor stated that the person who killed himself, it was 99% chance that he killed himself. That's what the DA doctor
99.
said.
Dang.
My doctor say he killed himself.
So it's only a 1%.
That doctor said, so on the death certificate of him, they label his death undetermined. When you die, you have homicide,
death.
suicide, accident, natural.
Some people want to know you.
Undetermined. And the doctor said 99%, which is the worst doctor in Philadelphia history. Ian Hood, he's like the worst. He put many men on death row.
Damn.
And he came to trial and said 99% positive that it was a suicide. And it still took me to trial.
Wow.
Why? Because you parade me in front of the camera,
Yep.
right? You know, you did all this stuff. And then when the stuff came back, when all the evidence cleared me, is how do we let this man go because he's going to sue
Yeah, because
us?
they're going. Yeah, and they're going to look bad.
So we don't want to look bad. We got to make something happen now,
Right.
to make him pay. And that's exactly what they did.
How many years did you get?
I was sentenced to 16 to 40 years. In all actuality, I was supposed to receive 25 to 50 years. And the reason why I bring that up is saying that the judge himself couldn't even sentence me to the max.
To that amount of years, because he understood.
Nigga understood. He knew. I was in the judge chamber when he was begging me to take 2.5 to 5 years.
Damn.
Like, just take the time. Like, there's no need to fight it. Like, you crazy. Now when the judge and the DA is telling you to take the time, you're like, yo, something is up. You know what I mean?
So you just thought you was gonna spank it.
No, I didn't really think I was going to spank it. But one of the greatest things happened. My mother passed away while I was in prison, right?
Wow.
Which was the hardest thing that I ever faced in my life. But I remember this like yesterday. I remember after trial, I got found guilty. Now, I'm emotional. I mean, you're very emotional. You can't believe this is about to happen. I had a lot of thoughts. Suicide is real. I mean, I had suicidal thoughts. I had let them kill me thoughts. I mean, going to the yard, because in the yard of the prison, the guards are in the tower. They got a gun up there.
Yeah.
I was even thinking about going to attack a guard so they could shoot me.
Wow.
Because I couldn't find it to myself to do it because I wanted to do it. There were days I wanted to die. You know what I mean? But I couldn't do it. So I was thinking of ways to make them do it to me.
Right.
But my mother told me something. She said, it is messed up that you went to trial and you got found guilty by this system. She said, but if I died today, at least I would die knowing that my son wasn't a murderer because I was able to see the evidence. And that right there took the pride in me now that made me stronger.
Yep.
And made me overcome most of my situation.
Yeah.
So the crazy thing, the whole time, like you was in there, you was still figuring out a hustle out here. Like you was still doing
Absolutely.
things. You was selling clothes.
Absolutely.
You used to call me from jail saying, "Oh, bro,
J
I'm about to
Biz,
have
what
my
we
son
doing?"
Pull up on you to bring you something to
Bring
wear.
you something to wear.
I'm trying to-
You know,
yeah.
and J Biz was buzzing. So, you know what I mean? Let's put him in the clothes. And one
Yeah,
of the
the
things about
books.
that is that we got to understand, right? A lot of people wait until people are gone
Yep. To support them.
to not even support them, but to give them their flowers.
Yep.
There's a guy that's standing in the studio. His name is Rob. He's my agent. He's my best friend. He's my phone holder. He's my fighter. 18 years I sat in prison.
Wow.
And for 18 years, he never missed a phone call.
Wow.
For 18 years, man. And I get emotional when I think about this, right? Because a lot of people don't truly have friends.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
And to take that burden on, to put his life on hold,
Yep. To be
and
there
to
for
help
you.
me execute my plans, I mean, it's very touching to me. And I forever am grateful to him. I mean, I will never find he's not even a friend, he's a brother, man.
Damn.
I mean, to hold me down like that, and to really like every vision we had as we sit in there on the phone talk about those visions. It was his leg work that brought those visions.
That's
To
amazing.
fruition, and I want to thank him and let him know that I appreciate him from the bottom of my heart, and I'm
him
forever
his flow.
blessed to have a friend like him.
Yeah. I can't imagine being I know, right? There need to be more people like you, Rob. We need more people like you in this world.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I can't imagine as a 22 years old
Yes.
having to be in prison or being sentenced to 18 years.
16.
16. You got sentenced to 16, but 16. You did 18.
Yes. And
why is that?
Good. So when you go to parole, you have to admit to your crime.
Okay.
In order for anybody to be paroled out of prison, part of changing your ways is saying, oh, I did it. Right? So now imagine that I goes to parole after 16 years of fighting. Now, they didn't have good lawyer before, but now my family is raising lawyer money every week. We having parties. I mean, shout out to
Thank God for good family
Versatile.
members.
Versatile hosts a couple of parties to me. Shout out to Bucky Raw. Forever my guy. Bucky was one of the hottest artists at the time before he got deported. Bucky did a free show for me to help raise the money. Bucky did a free show. Bucky only asked us to give him a bottle. I mean, that was it.
Please say that again to all the artists them that out there that request the whole entire world to give love.
I mean, and I'm just saying, man, again. Bucky Raw, and I say forever again, it's my guy. I mean, Bucky asked us, like, yo, he said, man, listen, I understand your pain, Bobby. Give me a bottle, I'll be there. That was it, and he was there. And I mean, all the other artists that performed too, even though their name wasn't big, that did every one of them, Nova Man. I mean, all them dudes did a free show to raise money to make sure. Versatile, they even gave me the platform at the time he was at the lounge in Philly. He was working at the club. I mean, making sure I was able to get a joint there. Jay Biz, every time I call on him, I mean, or say, yo, I needed something, let's partner up. It was always a listening ear. It was always, what could we do and put these things together? So it definitely take a village. I mean, so you got to be thankful and shout these people out. I mean, that's one thing people always want to know how you did it. I couldn't have done it without a team.
Yeah. So you went for your parole.
Yes.
You refused to admit
to the crime. Yeah, for going all the way around. I refused to admit to it, so they gave me a 2-year hit.
Damn.
Now imagine that. You get a 2-year hit.
Damn, after you did 16 years.
Usually they give you a 6-month hit.
Wow.
Usually they give you a 6-month hit. All right? So they give me a 2-year hit.
That's harsh.
They give me a 2-year hit. 3 months later, my mom died.
Dang.
Right? So now I got a 2-year hit. Get a call, my mother is dead. Right? And just to imagine that pain, right? And to even try to even explain this is going to be hard and be teary eyes and all that, but it don't really matter. I mean, this is a woman that sacrificed so much for me, for my family, to just have her die like that. And it was a hospital. I mean, I would say Jefferson Hospital killed my mother. And I mean, it took my mother away from us, man. But God, I mean, nothing happened without God first. I mean, so his timing is his timing. But to go through that pain, having the loss of my mother, and to get a 2-year hit. But again, Rob, my brothers, sisters, these people was the things that held me together because
push through, right?
My man, that pain to say, I mean, I lost my father. I mean, and I remember even here, I lost my father 4 years before losing my mother, right? To hear my father die, I cried like a baby.
Damn.
Because I always wanted to just have a conversation with him.
One or two times you ever seen him and you still felt that
cry
pain.
like a baby.
Because now he lost out on the opportunity to get
ever
to
sit
know
with
him
and get to know him, know his side of the story, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever talk to him like since you came to America?
And no, I came to America. I never spoke to my father. Then when I got locked up, they told me that my father was in America, but he was sick at the time. I mean, so I tried to reach out to him, but I mean, it never fell through. Even now, like, it's so crazy. Like, my aunt just informed me she found my sister And I mean, so hopefully we'll see. I got a picture of her. I mean, we'll see if that. I mean, how do we? 40 years. In my 40s, she's in her 40s. Like, how do we even?
Oh, so you had two at the same time?
No, she's 43.
Oh, she's 43.
She's older.
Cool.
Yeah, older than me.
Probably in Africa they can do all kind of things.
Yeah,
wow.
So I'm waiting for that type of reunion. I would love to meet her. Maybe I don't know if she know any stories of him that could tell me, because you want to know. Everybody have their reason.
Yeah.
Of why they didn't.
Maybe.
I mean, so.
And I love that you're still open to hearing, knowing about him.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're not angry and bitter, because a lot of the time, some people just have that anger in their heart towards that person. And the fact that you don't have that, that's amazing.
There was a story I read, and it was in this book, right? What's my guy name? He wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad. A book you must read.
I know who you're talking about, yes.
Kawasaki. Kawasaki wrote another book called Unfair Advantage, right? Within that book, he stated that how to catch a monkey. And we're from Africa, and we didn't even know how to catch a monkey, right? So I'm reading for a white man telling me how to catch a monkey.
Right.
So now he said in the book, he said how to catch a monkey is that they open up a hole in the tree. He said the Africans open up a hole in the tree, and they put nuts in the hole in the hole. And when they put the nuts in the hole, the monkey come through and go and grab the nuts. But when the monkey put his hand in the hole, he closed his hands full of nuts. So when he tried to pull his hand out, his hand is stuck. It's too tight. Simple thing the monkey got to do is let go. And he's free.
And he doesn't.
But the monkey don't let go. The monkey would sit there fighting, and the men would come right behind the monkey, hit it over the head with a stick, throw him in the bag. They're going to eat him, or they're going to send him to America to somebody's zoo. You know what I mean? Because the stupid monkey, they ain't learn how to let go.
Yeah.
So that always taught me how to let go.
That's so simple, but so powerful.
So powerful. I held so much pain, anger. I mean, and I was mad at the world, mad at people that disappointed me. But I learned that letting go give you more power over the situation than holding on to it.
That's beautiful. So I'm going to bring it back because I want to fast forward to the present.
Yes, ma'am.
So after you did your 2 years.
Yes.
Now you did 18.
I did 18.
Then they released you.
Goes to parole. This funniest story ever.
Oh, boy.
See the same guy that questioned me. You're not supposed to see the same person.
Wow.
There's 9 people on the parole board. These people control who's come home and who don't come home. Right. If you're convicted of a murder or a violent crime, you need 5 votes out of the 9 in order to come home. Usually, you will never see the same person. You will see somebody else. And I went in that office and I saw the same guy that I saw 2 years ago. Dang. Now I'm on the phone with everybody. Everybody's telling me, go in there and tell them what to do. I'm on the phone with Rob. There's a process before you go to the parole board. You must see the psych. Because psych got to deem that you are sound in the sound mind.
Yeah.
I got to let you outside. Right? So your story start there. You got to tell your story 3 times before you go around until you go to the parole board. So you got to see the psych, you got to see your block, and then you got to see pre-parole. Then you see parole. So you go to the psych. Whatever story you start with the psych, you better
gotta remember that story.
So now everybody like, oh, my man, just telling you did it, and you are fighting in court, and I won. And I remember the psych walk in, and I walk in that office, and she said, and I was like, you know what, it's time to come home. I'm newly married. My wife is coming up there every weekend, every Friday. She's a school teacher in Philadelphia. Come from school on Friday, come to see me. So I'm like, damn, man, you know what? Like, I got to get home. She's
so you're just willing to agree
to whatever, right? I go in that psych office. She said, what happened? I just started crying. And she said, what's wrong? I said, I ain't do it.
Oh, so they just want you to go in there and say you did it.
They just wanted to say
I did it. She said, what you mean? I said, I didn't do it. I said, I can't say it. You know what the psych told me?
What?
She said, listen, we'll act like the interview never happened. I'll give you 1 week to think about it.
Again?
And I'll come back again. So I called Rob. I'm like, yo, my man.
Why do they want to force people to agree to something that they...
Because that's the process.
You
can't sue later. You can't. That's the process, right?
Wow, that's terrible.
I called Rob. I'm like, yo, my man. Like, what? She coming back in a week. So what you gonna do? I said, my man, if I couldn't even go in there and say it now, and I had it in my mind to say it, what made you think 1 week would change me?
Yeah.
I said, man, it is what it is. Whatever decision to make, they make. And I went in there and told her I didn't do it. And now I go through the process. Now I go see parole. But I go see the same guy. But it's God. Because now imagine me coming to a new story. And that's what they got 2 years ago. Cried to the guy and said, I'll do it. Then I come into the guy and say, I did it, my man. But,
nah.
You know what I mean? And I went in front of that guy and said, listen, man. Like, he said, Mr. Johns, you have done everything in prison. You started organizations in prison. You run groups in prison. You staying out of trouble. Why you don't want to go home? I said, what you mean? He said, because all you have to do is admit it.
Well, why would you admit it?
I said, sir, there's no way I could ever admit it. And if y'all going to keep denying me, please don't call me back out. I'll do the 40 years.
Damn.
And
man, you ain't got balls though.
3 weeks later, my man.
Yeah, you got balls.
3 weeks later, my man. We wait till I call it. I said, yo, I'm on the list. You know what I mean? Because they have us list, man. And they tell you when your green sheet come back. When you, I mean, because whether you made parole or not. So I'm hyped. I'm like, yo, I'm on it. But at the same time, I'm like, they're going to deny me. You know what I mean, it is what it is. Let's see how much. Now we betting. I'm betting with my friend. And let's see if they give me full. You know what I mean? Let me see if I did better than the 2 the last time. And I went in there, man. And that thing, and it's a black lady. The only time y'all be happy to see a black person in prison is there's a black lady that come and give you your paper. And when she give you your paper, you're free.
Wow.
If a white man give you your paper, you're free.
Damn it.
That's so crazy.
So a black woman is the one that's freeing you, right? And that black woman did not come out that door. Swear to God. Did not come out the door. Big husky white bull come out. So I'm like, I'm like, yo, man, what's going on? I'm like, yo, like, y'all think I'm going to act up? Yo, I know what y'all going to do anyway. He said, what are you talking about, Mr. Johns? I said, man, I know what y'all going to do. Now they got to walk you through the hallway. And he just turned to me and smiled. He said, you made it.
Wow.
And I said, what? He said, you made parole. Now you talking about like, is he playing with me? Is he?
Right.
I mean, and my heart stopped. I'm like, no, but I got to see on the paper. And he handed me the paper, man. I seen that joint. Oh, my God. Rob cried that baby. I deep in it cry. I mean, I cried like a baby.
18 years?
18 years.
That's crazy. So
finally
like,
known that I stood on business, as they call it, but also I put my faith in God. I let him lead the way, and I put my trust in him, even though after everybody was telling me, do this, do that, I prayed to him. I told him, listen, man, you guide the way. You let me know what to do. And I'm forever grateful for that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like if we sit here, right, we have this conversation, right? And for me, like when I was coming up around, like I heard about Derek. Like you hear about Derek misbehaving in the community and this and that. You hear that. And then like for me, like growing up, being around those type of situations, and a lot of cats that was operating in that field, they're no longer here.
Yeah.
They either deported back to Liberia
Or they dead.
or they're dead.
Yeah.
So when you sit back here and you take a look at the person you became, right, today, do you think that was going to be you if you wasn't going to go to jail?
Absolutely not. But here's the thing. I was always that person. But was I ever given the opportunity to show that I was that person? No. Jail is the worst place to be in the world.
So speaking about that, please tell, because a lot of people who tune into our podcast, a lot of people got kids that are in and out of juvie, jail, messing around, playing, thinking some type of joke, these little kids. So, like, tell them, like, what's really happening in that space.
Okay, so when you first go to jail, you're put in front of a interview person when you go to prison. I'm talking about not county jail, the penitentiary. And you ask, where do you want your body sent?
Wait, you said what?
Where do you want your body sent?
Really?
Where do you want us to send your body when you die? Because there's no guarantee you're walking out of here alive.
Wow.
That's the first question you ask. Where do you want your body sent? And after you ask that question, I think reality sink in when they tell you where you want your body sent. But if they ain't sink in now, then when you go on the blocks and you see the old pop in there that just did 50, 60 years, and you wake up in the morning and they're telling everybody to go back to your cell. You're like, why? Oh, Mr. Johnson did not wake up this morning. Because Mr. Johnson is 80 years old and he died in his sleep.
Damn.
Mr. Johnson now, all his family is dead. Whoever else is alive don't know who he is because they forgot about him.
Yep.
Now you got to carry Mr. Johnson out and go bury him in the backyard.
Wow.
Who got to carry him there?
Inmates do everything.
So you guys got to go bury the person?
Inmates do everything. In prison, that's why I told people that want prison reform, inmates go on strike. If the inmates go on strike, you'll have all the prison reform you want. So I don't want to hear about nothing. I mean, we do everything. I made over 1 million lights in place.
So
All the county are driving, I probably made a license plate. You know what I mean? For 19 cents an hour, to be honest.
What advice will you give to the young boys or young people out here
operating in your field?
I'll tell them
not
that.
even operating on that field, but are just out here misbehaving? Because I think when you're young, a lot of people don't understand these little mistakes you made determines your entire life.
Entire life.
Your
Remember,
entire
fighting
life.
in school determined my entire life.
Yes.
Started from that, right? So what I would tell them is that love yourself.
Yeah.
I think it starts with love, self-love, because a lot of people do not love themselves.
Yeah.
If you love yourself, you'll not harm yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to be stabbing myself in the face if I don't love myself, right? And the reason why I use that analogy is that this is what they're doing.
Yeah.
If I go and take a life and kill somebody because I'm not thinking in my head right now, now I go sit down. There's a guy, and a lot of people don't know him, but this is a great friend of mine, still call me, writes me. He's sitting on death row. His name is Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones ran the junior mafia in Philadelphia. The junior mafia. I mean, get down, lay down. That thing Beanie Siegel never doing.
Oh, yeah?
He is the founder of it, Aaron Jones.
Wow.
Right? Aaron Jones was my workout partner, my walkie, close friend of mine, while I was in prison. Aaron Jones mopped the prison floor.
So the big boy out here, he's out there in there.
But he's on death row. Now, if Pennsylvania don't kill him and he somehow get off death row, he have a life sentence in the federal prison.
Wow.
So you gotta go do another time again.
He sentenced to die in Pennsylvania, and the federal he sentenced to life prison.
Wow.
If I know the person I'm talking about, Haroon, his name not Aaron Jones no more, he's Haroon. If Haroon had a chance to have a job out here
He'll take
in the street and work at McDonald's
He'll take
to
it.
be free, trust me, he'll be working at McDonald's.
Speaking about McDonald's, right? I tell a lot of cats this situation, right? I'd rather make $10 hour at McDonald's, right? That might equal to $20,000 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then go make $100,000 or $300,000.
No, go make 19 cents.
No, I'm talking about 19 cents. I'm talking about on the streets.
No, I'm talking about this is what happened when you go to the street. So let's calculate this, right? I made 19 cents for 18 years.
Damn.
An hour.
In prison.
Mandatory to work. 19 cents an hour. The highest pay is 42 cents.
Wow.
So
you don't even make it to $1.
I went up to 42 cents. I was a big dog.
18 years, you didn't make it to $1.
18 years, 42 cents, right?
Wow.
An hour. In almost 30 years, they just raised that to 50 cents, 8-cent raise. Now the prisoners get in Pennsylvania. Now calculate that 18 years of me working at McDonald's, I'll probably have a pension in another 2 years.
Way more money you would make.
Right?
Yeah.
So
that's
the idiotic. It don't
make sense.
It don't make no sense.
You risking your life.
Number two, you have let me tell you, man. You have to worry about somebody kicking in your door. You have to constantly worry about somebody about to shoot you. You have to constantly worry about somebody going to tell on you. You have to worry about your own friend. This is the person who I told you took his life. This was my guy. This was not an enemy.
The woman I stole from.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't even had a chance to even
Have a
sit back and
conversation
grieve.
with him.
No, I'm talking about grieve for him because I was fighting the case. I just grieved for him recently because I'm like, damn, I lost my guy over a couple of dollars.
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I
And
think
this is what their game brings.
a lot
man.
of the young people, they don't have someone like you, or they don't have people that's telling them, oh, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. And they don't know the reality of what's going to happen.
That's why it's up to us. And the good
Yes.
thing is, let me don't butty my shit now.
Yes.
Bang.
Because we want to talk about life after prison and all the
Life
things you're
after
doing.
prison. I mean, and the good thing is that it is up to us.
Yes.
Right? A lot of guys go to these places and they lie.
Yeah.
They tell lies about, oh, I was in jail, I was the man, I had the package, I had the cell phone. And yeah, I came across a few cell phones. I did a lot of things in prison, but it doesn't equal to nothing.
It doesn't.
Nothing.
Nothing. You're still there. When they search your cell, they bring dogs, make me feel like I was in South Africa during the apartheid. The dogs come and sniff your ass. They put the dog behind you while you're in your drawers, and the dog
Wow.
is sniffing your asshole
the phone in your
to
butt.
make sure the phone not in your butt or drugs not in your butt.
Damn.
Degrading.
Violation.
Hey, violation, man.
Yeah.
And you call yourself a man.
Violation.
When the man come to your cell and tell you a CO
God
anytime can strip search you.
Violation.
They tell you pull your pants down, spray your butt, and open up your ass. This is
Y'all
like, come
laughing,
on.
but this is
That's
serious.
real.
That's what take place with the
It's
gangsters.
serious
It's
because
real.
if you're
You
talking
so
about
much of a
this-
gangster,
That's what happened
you
to
out
gangsters.
here shooting your ops. But let's go upstairs and say you ain't taking a strip search and see what happened to you. When them folks come and say, spray your asshole,
So I see
what happened to you.
I see what's going on with the gangsters that go to jail. They come, they traumatize and then
They traumatize, yeah.
Yeah.
Traumatized.
I mean, and
So
and
tell
that's
us
the thing.
tell us what you're doing now,
Kinda
how you're
paying
making
off
an
with that,
impact
bro.
within the community.
So one of the things we have a nonprofit foundation started with co-founder Tyree Wallace.
I love
Tyree
that.
Wallace did 26 years in prison
Wow.
for a crime he didn't do. He been home for 3 months now.
Wow, only 3 months.
3 months, yeah, 3 months. Also, Systemic Reformative Change is our foundation, and what we do, we have a whole lot of underlined within it. We have programs in it. Big Bro, building individual greatness by redirecting ourselves. We focus on kids from 18 down.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Then we got men,
You say 18 down?
yeah, 18 down,
because
big
you
bro.
can make changes
You know what I mean? Big
at
bro.
those
We're talking about
ages.
18 down. I mean, because anybody, big bro. I mean, I'm your big brother. But building individual greatness by redirecting ourselves. So if we're building them to be great, we're redirecting the things we learn
Yep.
growing up. The things men don't cry, or
Yep.
a man got to go and handle his and take a life. Nowadays, it's a life sentence for anything. I mean, a death sentence for anything.
Yep.
Somebody step on your shoe, you got to die. Well, let's be for real. That's something psychologically have to be wrong with you saying, oh, you passed by me in traffic, I should kill you. All right. All right. Then now you have we have also SRC Kids, where we focus strictly on kids, the younger kids.
That's
Then we have the
amazing.
Man Up. Man Up program is telling these men it's time to man up.
Yeah.
I can't be 40 years on a corner smoking weed with a 22-year-old. Then I'm telling him to change his life, then expect him to change his life. Not going to happen.
Doesn't make sense.
Right? But the main thing we're trying to understand, people, is that we change the system.
Yeah.
We
that's
can
where it
change
starts.
everything. So changing the system is getting involved civically. Civically is learning who's local electors. Your judge is elected by the people. Your DA is elected by the people.
Yeah.
Your council member that allocate all the money in this area to say your business can be ran. Who signed the paper and said who can own what business? Who signed the zoning rights? They are elected by the people.
And
Either
everyone
we
worries
hope-
so much about voting for the president. They don't
President.
They
focus
don't
too
focus
much
that.
on the states.
Donald Trump is a federal person. He runs the federal government. I mean, local, your governor, your DA. You know what I mean? These are the people that affect your life day to day.
Yeah.
And if we take control of that, these people win by votes, like 100 votes.
Like small.
100 vote, my man. The DA would get 200 votes and he won. 200 because
That's
nobody
crazy.
challenged him.
Yeah.
Because
Nobody
really
knows
going to
that's
vote.
going on.
Yeah.
Nobody know when the election is coming about. Nobody's taking.
So look, like, by you coming from a Liberian community, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it'd be a good idea to structure something that educates those people and try to figure out how to put them together so we can
No, absolutely.
participate in those type of activities?
Yes.
With BNBA, and that's why I was happy you said that. Bring Money Back to Africa is a structure that we put together. But here's the thing, right? America did not fund out of country foundation. They don't give you grant for when you're doing out of country for things that's going out of the country.
No, what I'm trying to say,
well, let me give you what I'm saying now. I understand what you're saying. But so BNBA, we have to restructure that to bring money back to Africa, which we found it. Where we're now educating refugees that's coming here, telling them to understand the important, because now look at most of our men there. They're home, they're deported, and they went back with nothing. Yeah. So trying to educate, and that's one of my goals, is to educate them. But the main thing is that we have to start as a whole collectively. Yeah. I think if we start separating things, it keep us apart.
No, but what I'm trying to say to you, right, it's like the movement y'all got. I understand that people can fund outside, right?
Yeah.
The country. But I feel like if you really like educate our people, give them information where if a business owner have a business, they can figure out how to get funding. I think you will empower your people so they can have funding to do it themselves.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying to you? So we to have these type of information where, like, it's a lot of young Liberian men that are running for council, men, and all these different things that we can put our hand around. But the problem we're facing is that they're not understanding the power that we have from just having our own community.
They don't. And I give a big up to the guys in Columbus, Ohio, Mustafa, Alpha. These guys are doing a major thing within their community. Like, they are building a community. Alpha and these bulls are really moving strongly in that community and taking care of their people. But like you said, we have to educate them.
Yes.
If you don't know better, you won't do.
Yeah, exactly. It has to be the young people, because they have an organization like Akana and them, all organizations.
They're not doing nothing.
Who when they all they focus on is self gain. They figure out to just create the system that works for them, where they just sending people in the Macan, they're doing the thing the way they're doing it. But we as a young people, to have that information, we need to figure out how to structure something where we make it work for the people.
But my man, what you saying?
What are you talking about?
I'm saying put it, people work together. That goal. Let's go. Let's make it happen.
As for me, I wish with every profession, right?
Yes,
like if we have Liberian lawyers,
yes.
If they had like a program where when we have immigrants come, you can educate them on the laws, the rights, and know
if you do this. Too much. Y'all letting the people know what we come and put together now.
But I think that's what we should start working towards.
That's why I said when we finish now, we're going to the table, we get our conference call,
we can have these
together
conversations
now.
Because I think if we can teach each other,
Absolutely.
because I come from a family where a lot of my siblings were in prison.
Yes.
A lot of my cousins got deported.
Yes.
They got in. I grew up on Park Hill in New York. If you know Killer Hill,
I
grew up on Killer Hill.
Come on now.
I'm proper, but I'm from the hood.
But now, if you're on Park Hill, I know you.
Yeah, I grew up in Killer Hill. All of my cousin is Mustafa, the one that got deported.
Yeah.
Half of my cousins are in jail. All got killed. Yeah. So coming from that background, I've lost so many people growing up. My friends have lost their brothers.
Yeah.
I wish there was a program that was put into place to educate them. We just happened to be lucky. A lot of the girls, we came out okay, but a lot of almost 90% of the guys we grew up with, they're either dead, deported, or in prison.
It's super crazy though.
Absolutely.
Because I think one problem we face in our community, right, is the things we're supposed to care about. We didn't care about it. I think
what?
Only thing that was pushed out in the community was one more business.
I mean,
but growing up, right?
Nobody pushed that on you, bro.
I'm talking about for me.
Because you didn't know better.
We men. That's all we learned from our property.
I think,
and how to drive nice cars and dress and look nice.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not. I'm not all the way agreeing with a woman business. But what I'm saying that one thing is each one teach one, right?
Yeah.
So it is now that we're educated. So let me tell you this. We founded this foundation. What I did, I brought Rob on board. Now Rob worked with the foundation full-time.
Okay.
Tonight we go to council in Norristown. We go to council meeting. Council meeting happened the first Tuesday and the third Tuesday. We had been at council. The last time I was at council, they gave $1 million away to some African guy. Kudos to you, my man. I don't know what the hell the guy said. The guy said 2 teams. Buddha, Nigerian man. They said gave $1 million.
The man, Nigerian man?
Nigerian man. He said, they said gave him.
So they put that on the play.
Yeah. But no, what I'm saying is they get a man $1 million to clean the street. The next week we come back, they give $300,000 out to another company to clean the street. The street ain't clean, you know what I mean? But these are the things. People are taking these funds and not doing nothing with it. The most important thing is that when you get these funds and these government funding is to make sure that you're giving back to these kids, to educate them, right? And I want to give shout out to Five Below. Thursday, we picking up 20,000 items from Five Below.
Wow.
Five Below donated 20,000 items to us.
That's amazing.
To give to these kids, to help these kids know, like, listen, if you're doing good, you'll get rewarded. Because what's the point of doing good if I'm not getting rewarded?
Right.
And that's what we have to do. It have to be that incentive. Because all the Baba men are being highlighted.
Yeah.
I mean, I come from jail. People that ain't know my story, they celebrate me. Big Niche come from jail. They know his story, they celebrate him.
Yep.
But what if Begin who got straight A's? Who's celebrating him?
And that's the thing, too.
I mean, we have to celebrate our brains.
The good things.
The good kids, man. We keep celebrating, all the bad behavior. Dirt, all the bad behavior. So it make people think, my man, I got to be bad to be talked about.
Yep.
I mean, we have to celebrate good behavior.
But I feel that it's the culture, though, because when we came to America, the only thing, the guys there now, we saw rap music. Yeah. So they got influenced by a lot of the rap music. Yes. When it ain't no better, they want to be in the nice cars. They want to get the girls, especially our African boys.
Absolutely.
My cousin, the way he got caught was because they shot someone and then he went and snitched to a girl because he was trying to be cool. He's telling the girl, you know, I did this, I did that. Like, look at me, I'm this and that.
It just comes down to women.
That's how he got caught.
Everything comes down to women.
So he didn't know any better. So if he had that proper education and he wasn't trying to be cool, he wasn't trying to be the African booty scratcher. He wanted to show them, like, look at me, I'm that guy. I'm cool.
I'm cool. And it costs you.
And it costs you your entire life.
It cost me 18 years. And then look at this, right? One of the worst thing about my incarceration is that I barely have a relationship with my daughters.
You missed 18 years.
Dang. Right. I mean, imagine now. So I've done all I could to raise them on the phone. I was telling my daughter the other day, she's like, and you thinking you're doing something you have done. I thought, like, yo, Dad, I don't know you and you don't know me.
Right.
I mean, and then I had it hurt, right? It hurt. But, and you know, you're a man, so you put a defense. What do you mean you know me? All the thing I'll do for you inside that, all that money I send you, what do you mean you know me? But when I sat back and understood, like, nigga, she really don't know you.
She don't.
And it's the truth, because 18 years, where you been? You have not been here. So now it's like, how do I get in? And sometimes I found a frustration because it's like, I still got to old Liberian way. Like, I'm not going to let my child talk to me a certain. I'm not used to this new way that kids talk to their parents. I'm not from this era. I mean, and with me is that as long as we get the communication correct, then we can pass it.
You miss eras or you miss
I miss decades. So I'm not from this place. You know what I mean? When people ask me, I say I'm from space. I'm not from here. But here's the thing, though. We're saying that. Here's a man who didn't have a father. Here's a man who didn't take 2 years because he wanted to be there for his child, not to miss out.
You end up missing 18 years.
All the things I did, even though I did not do the crime, the things I was doing to make it easy for them to put me away for these years, missed out on the most precious thing ever, and not being a father to my daughters.
Blame yourself at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think
my decision is decision making. It's everything. And I think emotional IQ is another thing. And one of the things that we teach is emotional IQ.
That's so
it comes
important.
down to that. Everything comes down to that.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Yeah. I mean, as long as that's where all these things are happening. If somebody talk bad to you in the club, you go grab a gun, you're thinking off emotion, impulse. But why? A lot of these boys are being raised by men. Mothers. And a lot of the men are not men. They'll. I don't want to call them whatever they are.
It's the truth.
A lot of boys are being raised by their mother.
Exactly.
And reacting to the situation how women
act. But I'm saying if the men act like women, then where's the definition of how to be a man?
But that's what's going on right now. Take a look at this, right? Be real. Like when a woman is arguing with a man, right, and she get upset, and she might want to hit him, right? If she was strong enough, women that were strong enough, we got knocked. Oh, here.
But we're not gonna make this sexism thing.
No, we're not. I'm just trying to tell you
because not all women are like that.
No. What I'm trying to say, right? Basically, right. So when a man get upset and he's operating on other men, he want to use force, right? He's strong. So if you act like how he see his mother act when she get upset, that's what turned out to be situations like that.
Absolutely.
All the time. So when women raise boys, they start to they react to a situation how a woman react to a conflict, basically.
I don't think that's true, because if that was the case, a lot of boys will react differently, because women, I think we're more emotionally intelligent than men are.
More emotionally intelligent.
Yes, we are.
No, my man.
That's
My man, don't start your
100%
nonsense, yo. My man, don't start your nonsense, yo.
Before I make any,
Don't start your nonsense. Number one, let me tell you this.
I have 5 brothers.
Emotionally intelligent.
Right? Before I make any decisions,
Yes.
I have to think it through.
Exactly.
No.
Let me tell you, my man.
Not when you're upset. Not when you're upset.
My enter.
Yes, when I'm upset.
My enter list, all right? Let me tell you, my first book, No Child Left Behind, right? It's talking about my Aunt Liz. When you read this book, you don't come out this book even thinking about me. I'm talking about a 7-year-old kid talking in the eyes of this woman, getting us through the wall. Women are the backbone of men.
Thank you.
Right? Let's get that. No, let's get it. Emotionally intelligent too.
They got something against women. I know what happened with him.
I know. Somebody not
he went through some things.
I yell for that one.
He got a lot of mommy issues.
I yell for that one.
Mommy issues.
No, I'm telling you. Listen, I'm not saying all women have more emotionally intelligent than men. What I'm saying, most women do, because they think things through, right? All right.
If a woman was in your situation, she would have took that 2 years.
What? Listen, I'm telling you, right? I remember.
Honestly, I'm saying,
but that's not an emotionally intelligent decision.
No, it is, because you're taking that 2 years because you're thinking, okay, I'd rather do 2 years and come out.
Strategically, she would
have took it.
Strategically, they're smart, but not emotionally smart.
Yeah,
emotionally.
All right, look now.
I don't want to argue too much. I want you to tell us about your books, where we can find them, and everything before we wrap this up.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up. If J-Biz want to be an extra hour, but. My book is on Amazon, No Child Left Behind.
How many books you have?
I have 4 books.
Okay.
What we're doing right now is that No Child Left Behind, A Child Who Can't Hear.
Okay.
One Man's Struggle to Find Justice.
Okay.
And Surviving Vietnam.
Okay.
The Child Who Can't Hear is basically my grandfather saying, a child who can't hear with Phil. So when when people say a child who can't hear, they just listening to thinking like hearing things. So yeah, you go through all that. Fayette was one of the worst prison, is the worst prison in Pennsylvania. We call it Vietnam. So I spent 14 years in that prison. So
wow.
It's just my survival through it, called Surviving Vietnam. And One Man's Struggle to Find Justice is about my whole entire case. We didn't get too much into it, but my DA was eventually locked up for raping kids.
Wow.
The cop on my case that arrested me.
I feel like we need another episode just for that.
We'll get that later. You know what I mean? But yeah, was locked up for raping another cop. My judge was kicked off the bench. Yeah.
So you didn't have the best people.
I didn't have the best people doing the bad team, to somebody that thought it was bad.
Damn.
But the main thing about it, God was on my side, and then I took that time. One thing, if somebody told me, I'll end with this, my co-writer, Sean Green, the man who taught me everything, life sentence. He's been in there all these years, and he's just so positive, man. He called me one day. I was acting like a knucklehead, mad at the world, in prison. And he said, and I'm a big quoter. I like to quote people who say something good. He said, you are an investment. I said, what the hell you mean by that? He said, the time that your family, that guy you talk about all the time, because he knew about Rob. I talk about Rob. But he said, the time he take to pick up the phone and answer your call, he's investing in you. Yep. He said, the time they take to come up here to visit you, they investing in you. The time they take to put money on your books, they investing in you. What is going to be your return to their investment?
Yep.
And when he said that to me, I knew that their investment could not go in vain. So the main thing is that it's not even just prison. People invest in people. The producer's here investing in his time, making sure this production is right. You guys are here investing your time, giving me this interview or doing this show. So understand the importance of investment and bringing that return back to the people that invest in you. And that's the most important thing I've learned.
I love that. And I just want to say that everything in life happened for a reason.
Absolutely.
And I think maybe God put you through this
so
you can be able to teach.
Not maybe. God did put me through it.
God put you through this so you can be able to teach.
Yes.
So you can be able to teach the next. You don't know how many lives you will touch and how many lives you will change along your journey.
Save my life, educate.
I think God saved his life. The new day is beginning time. I I'm sending me back home to his bigger.
Look,
yeah, but you know what? Before we wrap up, I realized we didn't touch on deportation. Were you a citizen when all this happened?
Hey, you get.
He was.
That's how you get deported, because my cousin did his time and he came out and he got deported.
Not citizen. Now why?
But that was a blessing.
No, the good thing that ever happened to me is George Bush. Give a shout out to George Bush.
One of my
George
favorite
Bush came up.
presidents.
Yeah, George Bush came up with a law. It was called the Child Citizen Act.
Oh yeah.
Child Citizen Act is that any child that was under the age of 18 that had a citizen parent,
Yeah.
and you came here with a green card, it made you a citizen automatically. You had to go file no paper. You had to do nothing.
That's amazing.
So shout out to my man Bush for that. But like I said, thank you guys so much for inviting me to the show.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to tell my story. You guys do an awesome job.
Thank you.
The production is beautiful. There's people.
Man, you right
the
there,
show.
you right there on the biggest Liberian podcast in
You
the
know
world.
what?
To my
Y'all
production.
just interviewed the biggest star y'all ever had on the podcast. The biggest.
All Liberia you talking
No,
about?
My man, I never been an interview for Frio. Don't be talking to me that ill.
We appreciate you so much. We
Yes,
appreciate you
absolutely.
coming. And
Appreciate
we
you coming
want to
through.
know how can we volunteer and how can we help?
Absolutely.
That
We
should be
do.
what-
Yes, please. Helping is always needed. What we have to do is that we go every morning. Me and Rob, not every morning, 3 times a week, because every morning be a false statement, to the homeless shelter, which is very humbling. We go there at 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock, feed them breakfast, and you see people going through what they're going through. I never thought that drugs was a disease.
It's a
I never
disease,
thought addiction was a disease. I'm telling you, it is. It's truly a disease. We have to get people, help these people out, educate these kids that,
Yep.
listen, sometimes weed is really a gateway drug.
It gets,
Yeah.
it gets you there. It takes time.
It takes time.
Take time.
Don't be rushing.
Play around
The
with
good thing,
yourself.
listen, I don't smoke, I don't drink. And I take pride in that, because not saying against anybody who do that, because they are responsible drinkers and responsible smokers.
Yep.
And shout out to them. I know.
And not for
You can't do
everybody.
it
Possibility, I can't do it responsibly.
Yeah, not for everybody.
So I would just leave it alone.
So if we can
You know what
donate
I mean?
our time, we can
Yes.
go to your website and donate.
Yes,
money
you can donate. You can donate to us, but most important thing, time.
Time is
Like I
important.
said, Five Below on Thursday donated 20,000 items. We're gonna have a day to give away. We also do clean and grill. Clean and grill means we go down to neighborhoods. We clean the neighborhoods,
That's
and we
amazing.
grill with the people in the neighborhood to let them know. Listen, once you clean your neighborhood,
Yeah.
I come outside, my neighborhood clean, I would take pride in it.
Yeah.
But if I come outside dirty, now I will act
You
dirty
add
too.
that, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the main thing. So we go to these
My man, we
neighborhoods.
can figure out you can transition some of these ideas and plans in Liberia.
We could,
because it's
absolutely.
needed.
Absolutely.
We need to go back home this December.
Yeah,
and we need to do that clean and grill.
We're gonna do that. Absolutely.
I like
No,
that
we got to clean and
idea.
grill. We got to do
Yes.
in Liberia.
Liberia
Clean and grill
coming.
with the people, my man. You have to, because Liberia. Listen, I was watching a joint the other day, and Rwanda is the cleanest country in Africa.
I think you
mean-
know what it is the mentality of the people.
Hopefully our sister can
We're
come too.
change shit.
It's
Y'all
the
leave it.
mentality
Y'all
of the
can't,
people.
y'all can't talk one
Hopefully
thing
our
positive.
sister can
Y'all
come.
can't talk one thing positive.
This
then y'all
year
can't
you're
talk
coming
negative.
to Liberia this year. You're coming. If you come to Liberia this year,
I'm coming this year
we'll do a
unless you
campaign for
sponsor
you.
me.
This year you
sponsor
come
my
in.
trip to Liberia.
because everybody going.
Well, thank you so much.
Man,
We appreciate
thank
you.
y'all
And I'm going to
so
get all your
much.
information to see how I can help
Absolutely.
in any way possible.
Absolutely.
How In the Fries family can help.
Absolutely,
to give back.
absolutely. And last word. Let's cease all beef in the Liberian community, please. When y'all do your commercial, y'all show them one. Cease all beef in the Liberian community when they come together, please, man. On some real stuff.
he's serious.
No. Let me talk, please.
Let
I
him
won't start
talk.
yet. It's important that we have to come together.
Yes.
It's important that we have to come together, regardless. There are going to be some opposing of that. But we have to come together and unite each other, because telling you, man, one, it's easy to break. But when you're together about it, it's very powerful.
important for the right people to come together.
All right. It's important for us to come together. But what's more important of that is not to be instigators.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, man, these things are very important, because why? You have a platform. You are somebody that we look up to. You are a role model. I come directly at you. Yes,
He coming
directly
directly
at
I
you.
thought you making a joke to
Directly,
the
yeah,
people.
you not cut it. Your producer cut it. You lucky.
He cut it off. He's still going.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I told you directly to you.
I thought you making a general
Directly
statement.
to you, not general statement. I told you directly to you, we expect better.
But
Of our leaders, we expect better. You're one of the leaders in the community.
2025, Well,
My man.
putting the rightful pieces
My man,
together.
I
you
understand.
are a
Step on the
leader
rightful people.
in the community. Please get your
Without
act
taking
together.
without taking no disrespect to 2025.
Get your act together,
No,
Bob. You know
I
what
think
mean?
we can put our egos aside
Yes.
and correct things when there are mistakes made.
Absolutely. And listen, my greatest thing,
stick
somebody
together.
told me, I'll end with this. I'm done talking after this. The easiest thing a man can ever do is say, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Even when you're not wrong. Because those words are so powerful and meaningful. Yo, my bad, my man. If I wrong Rob, if me and he get in an argument and we mad today and he leave, tomorrow I will call you and say, my man, I'm sorry. Because I'm sorry, not only just saying like, yo, my man, like I don't want no trouble, I'm scared. It just giving the offering of peace. Like, yo, let's figure out how we can work together.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry for J Biz and what the nonsense he been doing.
And I apologize on his behalf too.
There's no 2025.
For in the Fries family, we
Hey,
apologize
in the
on
Fries.
his behalf.
We sorry for him.
We're not burning nothing down. We're burning. We're building. We're not burning. All right. Thank you, guys. Your business, man. You gotta apologize. Let's go.
Man, definitely put it out there. I get tired.
Okay.
25, we're not playing with nobody else.
Oh, we want to get a picture, okay?